You know how we joke about, like, all of our favorite shows? Like, oh, this makes me sick. I'm so unwell. Well, everything that happened this week, specifically with Our Flag Means Death and the teaser that came out, it literally made me sick. I am unwell.
Look at us now. Hey, yeah, look at us now.
No.
Yeah. I was just telling Caitlin that I have not slept since this episode of What We Do in the Shadows aired. At 10 p.m. last night. It is now 10 to 4 Eastern Standard Time. Haven't slept a wink.
And I screamed so much that I lost my voice. So that was really cool. That was really cool of me to do.
Every time I blink, I nap for like a nanosecond. I like use that to refresh my body and my mind. We have officially concluded season 5 of What We Do in the Shadows.
Crazy.
We had 2 episodes last night.
2 episodes.
And I want to get your initial reactions to both of them, Caitlin. Overall, how you feeling? How you feeling, Coach?
I feel like overall I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And there you have it. You know?
And there you have it. There you have it. There it is.
It's so funny. I feel like to me, I feel like a lot happened, and I enjoyed it, but it didn't feel like a season finale to me. It was just like, and here's a couple episodes. We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, see you, bud. It was nice talking to you for a little bit. Good catching up. Glad I got to see the kids.
No, because you're right. Because everything that I wanted to happen happened, but it didn't happen exactly the way I wanted it to. So I was confused.
Wait, elaborate on that. What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, I mean, you and I, for this past couple of weeks, as we've been filming these reviews, have been talking about wanting a lot of angst. From the very last episode of this season, and like, it happened, but like not in the way that I was thinking.
Yeah,
and definitely in a way that I had to walk away from last night's episode and kind of just think about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And like what it really meant to me. So we'll get into that in a second. But let's go ahead and start with the first episode from last night, which if I could tell you the name, I would. But
episode 9. I don't look at names ever.
9. Yeah, I've given up on knowing the names of the episodes. About 10 episodes ago. So did you kind of anticipate, based on the message that was received by the vampires, that this was probably the guide's doing?
Immediately, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
all season, ever since the quote-unquote hex was put on Nadia, we've been saying, oh yeah, that's not real, that's the guide.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Continue.
Keep on with your scheme, queen. We love you. We're rooting for you. Keep up the great work.
Yeah. So when they first got the message and they're all getting excited about going to this person's house, I was just like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
I mean, which is like pretty obvious. I feel like it was made to be obvious because of how the guide was acting. It's obvious to everybody except for the vampires themselves.
Yeah, she's looking at the camera and going wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
wink, wink,
and everybody
nudge,
else is like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it was just really fun, like getting that immediate validation of, oh, we were right. Oh, she's behind everything, and it was honestly the amount of times I said, good for her, this episode was a lot. I honestly, everything that was happening, I was just like applauding. I was like, as she should. She has the right to do that. Yes, of course she should put them all in cages and yell at them for not being nice to her. She just wanted to be like complimented or just do one nice little deed for her. She was asking the bare minimum. This poor woman just wanted someone to ask her how her day was, and she would have been so happy, but no.
Yeah. Well, this is why you always ask people how their days are.
Yeah, this is why you check in with people. Or else you're going to get put into like a haunted mansion type scenario.
Yeah.
With trap doors.
Knives
and
Out
you're gonna get
type
put
sitch.
into... Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call and say. Oh, what in the glass onion?
Yeah. Can I say something that I really loved about this episode right from the get-go? Gonna be my favorite scene from that episode, but also maybe one of my favorite scenes from the season is Laszlo's fencing montage.
Oh, that was so fun. I loved it.
It was so fun.
It was like a dance sequence.
Cool. Yeah.
Like the music was great, and then just the addition, like every time a new fencer got added to the group, I was like, this is great.
Yeah, the multitudes of fencers. I gotta say, I love that too, because I can't imagine. I mean, I was trying to wrap my head around it. I can't imagine shooting something like that.
I feel like the choreography of that must have been really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I love that his little outfit had like a big red heart on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I was going to say costuming. Once again, we talked last episode about, or no, like a couple episodes ago, about how Matt Berry, his costuming in the show, you always know exactly what he's doing because he always brings like a very classic look that pairs well with what his personality is, but also is kind of like vintage. Yeah. And that happened again here. And like, that was, I mean, it was just like, I was nodding along like, oh, of course he would be fencing. And of course this would happen to him. And it's just, what a treat, what a treat.
That was a little treat for the girlies.
A little treat for the girlies, yeah. All right, let's talk about it. So this is kind of what I'm referring to when I say, my expectations for what might have happened between Guillermo and Nandor were different than what did happen, and I'm not disappointed. Let me be clear, but it was different. Like the vibe, it was just so different than what I would have thought.
I think it's really easy to, like, you and I, like in our heads, to like over dramatize it all, where we make it so much deeper than this show actually is. And I'm always reminded by every time I sit down every week to watch this show and I go, oh yeah, it's not that deep.
Yeah. I have to remind myself that like pretty much 95% of what happens here has no consequences whatsoever.
Real.
Like every other week. I have to say that to myself, and that's okay. I think what was done in this scene did work for me. I think when Nandor finds out what Guillermo has done, his face, like his face acting. Oh.
My attention was so grabbed. Just so immediately, I was immediately glued to my screen. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Like as soon as the guide started spilling and she's like, and Guillermo had to go and take matters into his own hands. And he's like, wait. I feel like everybody here knows something that I don't. It was really great because I feel like in this show you don't get many serious moments. So when things take a turn like that, where Nandor's just like he looks so hurt by everything, I was just like, oh, there are some consequences to these actions.
The immediate revelation that Guillermo can finally turn into a bat, and then the little sound as he becomes a bat. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah. Yep. I'm on board.
One big note I like to talk about is, Nandor is known for not being the brightest of bulbs in the bunch.
All right. Oh my God. Oh, don't. Oh no.
And yet, after a season of everyone trying to figure out why Guillermo's vampirism hasn't taken its full effect, why he's only half of it, and like we've speculated that it has to be his Van Helsing blood, but who has the immediate answer when it comes to Guillermo? Nandor. Who has all of the answers? Nandor. Like, he's the one figuring it out. He may not know a lot, but this guy knows a lot when it comes to his familiar Guillermo de la Cruz.
Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at, is like, I don't know, you want expressions of love from time to time, or like you set an expectation for yourself that expressions of love in television are often overt, and like that's the only way that you know that they exist. But I think in the specific context of this show, you gotta really like parse apart the subtext of what's going on to see what really matters. And what really matters is that Nandor, he knows everything about Guillermo, like what is needed to save him. He recognizes that Guillermo isn't ready to be a vampire, He invents this ceremony so Guillermo can renounce his vampirism. He gives him that opportunity. He kills Derek when he knows Guillermo cannot.
Yep.
He keeps Guillermo's glasses.
Oh, I know. Like, what?
He puts his hand on Guillermo's shoulder to comfort him. Yeah. This is all so compelling.
Compels me, though.
And that's why when you say, like, you know, sometimes it's not that deep, I don't know. I think it might actually be that deep.
Here's the thing. When it comes to Nandermo, for me, it just makes the show more fun. It's just an added layer. Like, is it my favorite ship that I've ever seen on television? No, but I enjoy it because it's just a silly fun time for me. But then, like, when you look at the season as a whole and you list all of the things like this season that like Nandor has done for Guillermo, and like how he, when it comes to Guillermo, he's like all knowing, it's just like, maybe, I mean, there's something there, and it can't be for nothing.
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's not, right? Like, we have a whole other season to figure this out, right?
It's the slowest of slow burns.
It's not the slowest of slow burns. I wouldn't say that. There's slower burns. Trust me. Trust me. But
yeah. I know.
Just kidding. I'm okay. I'm
18 seasons worth. But yeah, I guess 5 doesn't really cut it when you have that too. Just to save face for you, I'll just say here, if you know, you know, and if you don't, just don't bother.
No one's asking you to know. But you probably already know. So anyway, I liked this final episode so much.
Yeah.
Because I think it showcased like what makes Nandor and Guillermo's friendship and maybe potentially a romantic relationship in the future at some point work. Like, because Nandor, despite being naive and spending a lot of time, you know, with his head in the clouds, absolutely knows Guillermo. Like, knows him. And that's, come on. I like that Patton Oswalt was there, and then he just wasn't.
I like that Patton Oswalt was playing Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, I like that he was just... I like that we're just not even developing characters for these larger guest stars anymore. We're just like, you're the actor. That is who you are. You know?
I like that with this list of actors that are coming onto the show is also just a growing list of like actual actors that in the What We Do the Shadows universe are just immediately getting killed.
Yeah, or are vampires. Or are vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we had Danny Trejo at one point, and then you know, everybody in
Tilda.
Tilda Swinton,
Taika Jermaine.
Yeah, but then also oh my god, Sal Vulcano from Practical Jokers.
Sal Vulcano
my favorite guest star by far, because of how quick he was there. He was there for you to be like, oh my god, it's Sal Vulcano. Oh, he's dead. And then Patton Oswalt.
With the exception of maybe Mark Hamill, celebrities as guest stars, the role they play in the show is very minor. It's like they don't have like these large overextending arcs where they take up the entire show. I mean, even you can even say that about Mark Hamill's character.
I feel like even Mark Hamill was barely like, I always forget that he was in the show, and it was the Jackie Daytona episode.
It was because that's what exactly, because then again, like, you don't think about Mark Hamill when you think about that episode. No offense to Mark Hamill, love him. You think about Jackie Daytona, you know, you know,
and John Slattery. I like that Nandor asked Patton Oswalt, like, do you know John Slattery?
You know John Slattery? Yeah, like that came back again. Like, do y'all know each other? So one dynamic that I really liked in this last episode, and that I've loved throughout the season, and that I'm happy we're getting to see more of, is it literally, it's just, I want what they have, is Laszlo and Guillermo.
Yeah. Oh, this was such a fun season with those two. Like, I thought last season I was gonna, like, I thought I kind of had it all with, like, the very little, like, we're parents now to baby Colin Robinson dynamic that they had. Oh, but their friendship was so lovely.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Because there was a time, and like this is mentioned by Laszlo when he starts to give this speech with this secret that we never learn.
I wish we found it. I'm sure we'll find out someday. Or
yes.
We won't.
Or we'll never find out again because that's how the show is. That final scene where Guillermo's looking over Derek's body and Laszlo comes and helps him.
Yeah. Like immediately, like this was his plan all along. Like he's like, Derek's never going to actually fully die.
Yeah. And then they take him to have him revived. And fucking...
Topher!
Fucking Haley Joel Osment is there.
I love it. I love that they brought him back. It was awesome. I love that he talks normal now. He goes like, yeah, well, you got to get used to it. And then like he's talking to Derek. And he's just like, don't worry, buddy. We'll get that. You'll get it in time. We'll get you some time. And like now finally Derek has like friends that he can talk to.
And he's happy. And because I loved it because it speaks to the fact that the show, like a lot of the actions don't necessarily have consequences, but also it's kind of nice. Like I actually really appreciated that because like it could have been really sad. Like when they actually killed Derek and when we didn't know what was going to happen, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I like this very much at all.
I completely agree. I thought so when the vampires started taking off their hoods, I thought it was just Nandor, Nadja, and Colin and Laszlo taking off their hoods, and they were gonna kill everybody else. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. They're killing the Baron, and they're killing the what's the little creature guy?
Him.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The Baron's creature partner.
Yes.
Him. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna kill everybody. This is crazy.
My
but then when I realized
couple.
it was just Derek, I was like, oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But it was all okay.
And but they were like, yeah, no, we know, it is fucked up, it is dark. Here you go.
Here you go. We'll bring him back to life, and he's a zombie now.
And he's fine, and everything's... And it was honestly it was cute. Like,
yeah.
I walked away from that episode with a smile on my face. Like, I wasn't disappointed. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm just glad Derek's happy.
Derek is happy, and I'm happy. Derek is alive-ish.
Derek is alive-ish, and he's happy.
I'm happy for him, because he's alive-ish.
Look at Topher. Like, he's having a grand old time. He can speak now. It's showing that there's hope for Derek, and it looks like he's going to have, like, a little mentor, a little zombie mentor.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what gripe I do have, though?
Go.
Is they brought the gin.
You're gonna talk about this. I knew you were gonna talk about this.
Fucking Chekhov's gin.
Chekhov's gin!
And Nandor's like, I will fix, rubs the lamp. Jin comes back, and he's like, I wish. And he goes, oh, let me stop you right there. You ran out of wishes a long time ago. And I was like, no, he didn't. He's got 3 extra wishes.
I knew you were gonna think of. I
got so excited. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Well, I was a little afraid because I'm like, is he gonna just like wish that Guillermo wasn't a vampire, like without consulting Guillermo? Because I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like that.
Yeah.
But when he's like, no, you ran out of wishes, I was like, that's a lie. That's not true. That's not true, Ellen. I remember the little gift for the wedding gift.
Yep, I do.
It's a tiny little lamp with 3 wishes, and unless I'm just forgetting everything,
no,
we never saw him use them.
No, we never saw him use them. I thought so. The implication is that he used them off screen, right?
Yeah,
and
which I
that
feel
just
like
doesn't. No, I agree. That doesn't work for me because then it's like, why bring the gin back at all? Why not just like move on and we don't have to revisit that storyline again and it can just be a one-off thing? Because to bring him back, I mean, I love his character, but to bring him back for like a 3-second scene to be like, oh yeah, no, you can't use me. It's like, are we just trying to tie up a loose end? Like, do we really need to? If we're not actually going to utilize this the way that we say we are, unless this is becoming important next season, but I don't think it will because nothing matters. Like, what do I do with this information? You know?
I don't know. I was just really mad about it. And then the only thing I can think of is I remember there being like a credit sequence with the wedding episode showing like a bunch of random things that Nandor had used his wishes on. So like he's literally wasting his wishes. But I'm pretty sure it was just the initial amount of wishes that he had, not the 3 extras.
Yep. So.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I agree. I think correct me on that if I'm wrong, but you're right.
No, I've seen that exact comment a couple times already on Tumblr. Okay. So I think you're
My
right.
Tumblr like, girlies always got me.
I'm very confident that those were never used up again. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't, that part doesn't work for me. Yeah. But everything else, I smooth sailing, baby. Looking forward to doing this again next year.
Talking about Nandermo and there being some momentum there. Yeah. There is a fantastic Tumblr post from God, I love people on Tumblr and their usernames. This one's Bottom Baron.
Hell yeah. Rock on.
And they say the scariest thing about Nandor being actually smart in all things Guillermo is that this is the reason why he'll never make the move to be with him. Nandor already knows how he feels about Guillermo. He's not even repressing it, he's just made his peace with it because Guillermo was never an option. Guillermo is human, he'll choose to stay human, he's fleeting, he'll always leave in some form or fashion. Nandor doesn't choose to act on his feelings for Guillermo for the same reason why he never turned him. It would just be a curse. So, there's that. But also, I just love that for 5 seasons now, we've had the knowledge of Guillermo being a familiar to Nandor with a promise of one day becoming a vampire, and it's been so long, and he's wanted this for so long, and he hasn't gotten it, and it's annoying. Oh my god, why won't he just turn him? Gotta take matters into his own hands, and it's all because Nandor knew that Guillermo wouldn't be up to the task.
Wow. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. It really puts things in perspective in a lot of ways because you spend so much of the earlier seasons being like, oh, he's and it's not that he isn't also doing this, but he's literally only taking advantage of Guillermo in your head when you see Nandor. Like you think, okay, like this is kind of what was implied by the original film too, is like they're just leading these people on and making them feel like they could potentially be vampires one day, but it's that's kind of the joke, is like, no, it's all just so that they can remain in servitude for vampires forever.
Yeah, I mean the communication style could definitely be different. Could use some work.
Right, but that to that extent, it's like once you see, I think you're absolutely spot on with sharing that analysis, because I think once you see this last episode and you see exactly, I think, the way that Nandor cares for Guillermo in this episode, not just his anger, but also his recognition and like how responsive he is throughout the entire episode to Guillermo's needs. It's like, it makes you feel so warm and fuzzy, you know? Yeah. It makes you feel so warm and fuzzy. Also, it's hot as shit. It's hot as shit. Like, oh my god. Okay. Peak hotness. That's all.
Okay, there are 2 scenes we need to speak about. The one in Guillermo's mom's house where where Guillermo is going after Nandor and is going to, like, he has his wooden stake. Yeah. And Nandor, like, grabs his hand holding the stake and, like, brings it to his throat. I'm sorry, that whole scene.
Whoa.
Oh, the tension. It was a lot.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, whatever I expected for this show in terms of what the angst would be. Yeah. It was different, but I was
here for it.
But I almost want to say better in a lot of ways, because it was so out of, it was out of pocket. It was out of pocket. Because I feel like we don't often see them sparring, and we haven't since that really great fight scene in season 4. So to see him with the stake, and oh my god, and the height difference, and oh my god.
That's the thing! That's the thing! And
oh boy.
I feel like what really added to that whole scene is the fact that we haven't really seen Nandor and Guillermo this close all season.
No,
they... for half the season, well, pretty much all the season, Guillermo's trying to hide from Nandor because he doesn't want him finding out that Guillermo's a vampire, and so they haven't always shared a lot of scenes together, and when they are together, they're pretty minute, and it's not really, like, super, super important stuff, except for when Guillermo is hiding in Nandor's coffin, but that was a whole thing. Yeah. So to see them together on screen in such close proximity was just, if I had to put a word to it, awooga. Yeah.
Yeah. You could cut through the tension with a knife, as they say, as the girls say.
And then the scene where Nandor we don't know it yet, but like when Nandor makes up this whole ceremony to like renounce Guillermo's vampirism. I'm sorry, it was giving marriage. It was giving wedding. You know what they didn't have to do, but they did? They zoomed in on his hands tying up Guillermo's cape. I'm sorry, when that happened, I was like, hello? I had to, like, I went back. I was like, did I miss something? Are they like zooming in on something specific? And so I went back and I watched it again. I was like, no, they're just zooming in on Nandor's hands because
because they just should do that. Because they should do that for us. But no, you're right. Oh my gosh. And that scene is especially fascinating because of the detail. Like, everybody's wearing hoods and like they're wearing these little capes, and every cape, like all of the yarn pieces on the capes each have their own unique designs, like for each character, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, really? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And like, I don't know. I thought Nandor really brought it in that scene.
Yeah.
Like there's probably, if I had slept at all last night, there's probably some really complex praise that I could give about why I felt like seeing him in more of this like dominating and like, I don't know, a space where like he's sure about himself because he's confident about and knows Guillermo so well. It's so everything.
I think it was the switch in roles. You know, we've seen Guillermo putting a cape on Nandor. We've seen Guillermo brushing Nandor's hair. But for Nandor to finally be doing something for Guillermo, sure was nice to see.
was incredible to see.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. So let's conclude with some psychoanalyzing, I guess, about what could potentially happen next season. So Caitlin, do you think that Guillermo is done being a vampire? Do you think that he won't try again? Do you think that maybe that's the point, is that it has to be Nandor that turns him? Or do you think he is accepted being a human and that is how he's going to choose to live out the rest of his life?
With the presentation this season of Guillermo realizing, maybe I'm not cut out to be a vampire. Maybe this isn't what I want. Now he has to figure out what he does want.
Yes.
He needs to figure out who he is. We know that I don't think he's going to be leaving the vampires at all because this is his family. And that was one of his fears in this last episode of him saying, like, I honestly, like, I don't want to die, but I'm also more worried about losing my friends, you know?
Yes.
So I don't think he's going anywhere, but now he has to find himself and who he is within this group of people and as himself for his life's journey. And squeak squeak, maybe that has something to do with Nandor. I don't know. I think if Guillermo's going to be going on this new self-discovery next season, I think there could be potential to develop that relationship, because now Nandor and Guillermo's relationship is completely different, knowing that there isn't the underlying fact of Guillermo still waiting to be turned. It's just like, am I just now your familiar again? Or what's going to happen between us? So I think for right now, I'm going to say no, he's not going to be a vampire. But maybe with some more growth. And I laugh at that because I'm like, maybe once he can like learn how to kill people and be okay with it, then he'll be a vampire again. Yeah. But I think right now, no. I think he's going to stay a human and do a little self-discovery again.
Self-discovery, yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, it depends on the timeline for the remainder of the show. Because if this was the last season of What We Do in the Shadows, and that was season confirmed, 6, and like creators knew how they're going to end it, then like, yeah, I think it's plausible that, you know, this whole next season could be dedicated to Guillermo's self-discovery and potentially, you know, a continuation of this arc, because it is odd to me. it is odd to me to expect him to become a vampire, and in within a couple of hours of doing that, just be like, no, this isn't for me, and then have that be the conclusion of that arc for him, like, right. and then to have that never be addressed again, like in an upcoming season, like that would be unusual. So I do feel like you're right that that's what the setup we're getting. And then how soon I think it's going to happen, I don't know, because if this show gets renewed again, I think that's the difficult thing too about writing a show like this, is like it has to be a little bit about something. Like for the most part, it's about vampires, and that's it, and that's all it has to be. But like.
It's about the group dynamic. I think it's about the found family a little bit.
Oh yeah, that as well. But like to the extent that anybody is thinking about like ship culture, or like the capacity of like there being any romantic development in the show, I think that's really hard to parse out, because you just don't know how long a show like this is going to run for, and like what, and like you don't want to get. I can understand not wanting to get those characters together, not right away because it's been 6 seasons, but like
I know,
potentially lose an audience if you're going to continue with it, which for me also like poses important questions about like the longevity of shows, and like when creators should know to say, yeah, we've done enough, we're done, we're not doing anything more.
Yeah, I think there needs to be an end in sight. I think whatever they announce, like I need the when they're able to support the writers and the actors. When they are able to announce like their plans and move forward with the show, I need to be told, okay, this is the end, whether it be season 6 or we're renewed for one final season with season 7. Like if it's gonna be a 6 and 7 thing, or if it's just gonna be 6, I need to be told it's the end, because I honestly love the show, but when shows aren't planned out, when shows don't have an end, like that worries me, because it's just like, vision? Are you just gonna go and keep going because you're popular, and then lose sight of everything? I'd rather have, like, I've always said, like, I'd rather have like 3 to 5 really good seasons of a show than have 20 seasons with like 2 good seasons and 18 bad ones.
Yeah. I agree with you, because there have been so many shows that have run way too long past, I think, their expiration date, and the writers keep trying to do new things and bring new characters, but then people leave because that's the nature of acting and the projects that people take on, and it just doesn't work. Like I keep thinking a lot about I mean, we talk about this a lot, but like The Office, like the later seasons, like that's something where it's like, okay, all right, Michael's gone. I like a lot of these characters, but like, what do we do now?
Right.
What do we do? You
just lost the heart of your show.
You just lost the heart of your show. Yeah.
Or like another good show that honestly more people should watch, but it was very much, I remember when it was announced, like, hey, this is our 5th and final season, was Orphan Black.
Yeah.
Great show. I think when you pitch a show, you need to pitch how it's going to go, and then you need to pitch the ending.
You got to pitch, the whole story.
You got to pitch the ending. You got to have the ending.
That's one of my favorite things about Our Flag Means Death and like the creators there, is that, I mean,
just trying to lead ourselves into this direction.
I know, it's my least favorite thing, because I love this show, and I would unfortunately, it's the one show that I would watch like 85 seasons of. Like,
real?
Yeah, like I would be like, yeah, sure. If you lose half of your supporting cast in a tsunami, I'll still come back. I'm interested. Like, I don't care. But the heart of the show is like, we're telling a love story. We know what the story is. We know how it ends.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. That is the point. Like, we're not here to make money. We're not here to like well, we're here to make money, obviously, but like, we're not here to squeeze every last dime out of something until there's no originality or heart left. And I appreciate that. And also I want to say, I don't think that's what this show, what We Do in the Shadows is doing. And I don't think you think that either. But
no, I don't. I need to be told, hey, this is when we plan on ending it. So
that's the conversation.
Have a little ease.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully I find out not through an Instagram comment from the show creator. Like, we found out with David Jenkins commenting to somebody like, yeah, get us renewed for our third and final season. Like,
evil for that. Yeah. David Jenkins just doesn't release press releases. He just kind of like says things in like a really niche spot in the internet and hopes you all find it for him to.
Which I respect so hard.
Again, everything he's doing it like nobody else. Nobody else. Everybody else is like, let's have a podcast where we review episodes of our show. Oh, let's have like an Instagram. Let's go on Instagram Live and talk about the show. Let's do a press release. Let's like go talk about this. Even though it'll bar us from the union. Like, but David Jenkins is like literally
lurking in comment sections,
writing like he's literally writing like web dings as like code for things that are gonna happen in this season of our Flag Means Death. Folding those pieces of paper up, attaching them to a dove, and then just sending them out into the world, hoping that somebody picks them up. You know?
Yeah. He's putting these messages into bottles, throwing them into the ocean, and seeing what happens. Kissing them first, throwing it into the ocean.
Yeah. So, I had a lot of fun talking about this season with you, Caitlin.
Me too. I had fun with me too.
Huh?
You're like, I had fun talking about this show with you, seasons with you, Caitlin. And I was like, me too. I had fun talking with me too.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta love yourself. So I hope you'll all join us again when we do this again for season 6. Hopefully sometime in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So long
sure
as
is not going to be in the past.
Actors and well, yeah. so long as actors and writers are getting paid, support the WGA strike and SAG-AFTRA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us, and many thanks to all of
another season down.
And many thanks to all the talented writers, actors, creators, folks on set, every single person who had a hand in making What We Do in the Shadows. It is a wonderful show. We have so loved talking about it with you all, and
we've enjoyed your comments. We enjoyed all of the interactions we've had on TikTok, on YouTube, on Tumblr, all of the things. We will be reviewing, as said on the podcast multiple times before, Our Flag Means Death Season 2 in October. So you got that coming for you. Lots of madness to come. Anything that makes us feel kind of insane, know that you'll be hearing about it.
I'm really normal about everything we've been talking about recently.
I too am normal about it.
So normal about it. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.